Hello, and thank you for joining us. Today we will be discussing the topic of sex and gender inequality within healthcare. To introduce ourselves, I am Desirae. I identify as a female, and I go by she, her.
My name is Taylor. I am non-binary, and I go by she, they.
My name is Adam. I am male, and I go by he, him.
To jump right into it, we are going to discuss the trust gap, which is when women do not trust men physicians and vice versa.
So for me personally, I know that whenever I go to the doctor, I'm always asking for a female physician or even at the therapist, just because I feel like men can't understand everything that I'm going through, and even in a physical part of it, not the mental part, I always have felt like looked at by men in a different way, like down on.
And I also feel like the older we get, the more we realize how sexualized everything can be.
Yes.
And so, especially when it comes to healthcare, it's just another worry that women have every single day of their lives that they have to worry about again. So they would prefer to have another woman on their side.
It's like being more comfortable with someone who understanding how you feel and things like that, because a lot of males don't understand that.
Especially with the difference that the human body comes with the variation of female and male, that not many can fully understand the other gender and sex. So that has always been an issue, but I guess that goes straight into our other topic of symptom disbelief, which is when women tend to have to describe their symptoms as more severe than what they actually are for physicians to fully believe that they are true rather than just simple side effects.
Right. Again, another personal experience, but whenever I was in high school, I weighed closer to 200 pounds. And I remember going to the doctor for many things, like my ankle, I sprained it once, and all this kind of stuff. And I was always told that I needed to lose weight or that my problems were hormonal. And it was never something, it was always brushed under the table, whereas now I weigh closer to about 130 pounds. It wasn't until I lost the weight that they took me seriously and my health seriously, and it should not be that way.
And going back to the hormonal, whenever I was first diagnosed with anxiety, they thought that it was a self-insecurity rather than something, an actual chemical imbalance within my head, that it's not to do anything with my menstruation.
I also think it kind of goes back to the trust gap as well. I don't think men understand what women are going through, and I feel like a lot of men are just kind of assume it's about your weight or whatnot. It's just something they have to
and
work
it's so
on.
Ingrained into our healthcare system that it's probably not going to change anytime soon, because America is built, especially the healthcare, built around the standard man.
Absolutely. Even the BMI system is used around the for women, is used around what a standard man
should be.
Yeah. And for healthcare to expect bodies to be made that way. So the BMI really is, I think, hard on especially women, but can be hard on men too.
I get that.
And from a male point of view, I want to ask both of you, what do you think we can do to change that?
I think the healthcare system is just now slowly integrating everything. There is an artist going around drawing pictures of African American women that are pregnant, and they have never seen pictures like that before. And they're actually using people of color as a
standard.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Rather than just the basic white heterosexual cis person.
Right. And I think it's really important that we break those gender barriers, and that we talk more about, even as a non-binary person, it's very I also want there to be no gender barriers anywhere. So I think even just having a conversation about it,
and especially
at a higher level,
especially during the past few years, we've worked through race and racism, trying to get them to have equal rights and equal treatment. And now that the younger generations are testing the limits of what gender actually is, now the healthcare system is kind of plummeting once again.
Right, they need to step it up and have the conversation again. Even if it didn't solve all kinds of things, just having it on the table and having it as an open conversation would be really important.
And moving on to our next topic, because people can never stop talking about it, is reproductive care and the inequality within that. I really want to touch space of the abortion bans that are going on, as well as the inequality within getting your tubes tied versus a vasectomy.
Right. So you were talking earlier about how a vasectomy, you said, has to be, you can be 18 and go get one.
Walk in, but if you're a woman, you have to be a certain age, have a male and a female child, and have the permission of your partner before you can even consider.
That just shows that is very much a clear example of the difference in the way we weigh a woman and a man's worth.
Because Adam, you can decide to go get a vasectomy right now, and you walk in, that's all they need.
Prime example of gender inequality.
I just think that it's a woman's choice in every situation, and I can't sit here and be like, that's fine that an older white man is making a decision about my body.
A man that you've never even met.
He wants to make a decision about whether or not I can have my tubes tied.
I think that traces back to like the birth rate is going down, and it's the lowest it has ever been. So now, coincidentally, all these abortion bans and birth control petitions, it's because they need us. They need a working force for the future. That is what it is. And then that thought of women choosing what to do with their life and with their body, it kind of goes into the abortion ban, which I can go on forever about, because they're attempting to overturn Roe v. Wade currently, like as we speak. And Roe v. Wade has been set in place for decades. Why are they just now deciding, oh, that's not okay anymore?
It's like history repeats itself.
Yeah, and you would think that, especially with our generation coming up, and that we're more liberal, more understanding, more accepting, that we would actually have some older people on our side.
I do think it's important to have young, qualified people in these higher positions talking about these important things, because we, like, I know we've always said it, but we are the future.
And moving back to the abortion ban, it's older, typically white men pressing their ideologies with religion, even though our government is literally built on separation of state and church.
People who use religion as a weapon is not right, especially if I think Christianity is the big one that people try to push. I don't understand how someone who
weaponizes their love. Abortion has become more and more difficult to achieve lately, with price rates rising and just the accessibility altogether. Many Planned Parenthoods are being shut down.
Protested
every single day for simple reproductive care. Planned Parenthood is not only abortion, but abortion shouldn't be that hard to get.
No, absolutely not.
It is expensive. I looked into it before this, and if you are able to get the pill, the abortion pill, that alone is at least $500 for one pill. And then if you need to get a surgical one, that goes up to about $5,000. Tell me how a woman in poverty who cannot afford to have this child
is going to pay $5,000 to have it taken out.
Yeah. Make it like a gender issue. Men very rarely hold on to that child that they have created.
It's true.
Why are the women expected to grow, birth, and take care of this child? And when you are pregnant and you don't want to get the abortion, but people tell you to do adoption, you're shamed for that too.
Absolutely.
But the man gets a woman pregnant and runs away, never says another word, very often pays child support, pays the bare minimum, and they're praised because at least they're trying to help.
We are more likely to be angry at a mom in poverty than a deadbeat dad. And that's just the truth. We're because we look at the way that they're raising this child and we're like, oh, that's not good, but where's the father in this?
Not
we're
at all.
blaming the mother when the father, like, it's a half and half job. And I think that's one thing that people like to bring up when they talk about abortion, is the fact that it's like, oh, it's half and half. Like, the man,
should have a say.
But you're not going to talk about the woman living in the alley 3 miles away from you, raising 4 kids on the side of the road. But you're upset because this woman who is actually concerned about her ability to take care of a child.
It also comes down to, like, what if the woman was raped?
But I don't like that thought, the whole, like, rape and incest and sex trading kind of argument, because that's kind of, you're putting in exception on a woman's body, so she has to be violated by other people before she has a say in what she actually can do with her own body.
Right.
And most of these abortion bans are not even excluding rape and incest and all that.
No, they're not.
And the rapists are able to sue the victim for $20,000 if she gets an abortion. And everyone in his immediate family can sue her for the exact same amount. You can't tell me that some man is not going to make that his career.
Absolutely,
He is going to go rape
Definitely.
people and then have his family sue them
Yes.
and make that his career.
He could get rich off that. It's so crazy to me how someone can argue that there's no inequality. Like, that's what's
In the
wild to
situations
me.
like that.
Yeah, like, just the things that you can come out and just say, and, like, it's, like, proven. And people are like, there's no inequality happening. Like, we've been dealing with this for years. You guys, we're all equals. There are so many very obvious things going on that are just like, this is not right. This is not the way it's supposed to be.
And I guess that follows into the topic of, like, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Most people who are agreeing with these bills and agreeing with the legislation are people who are not fully realizing what this is going to fall into.
They're not doing their research.
If you ban abortion, that's going to fall into banning birth control. And that's going to fall into forced birth. This is purely just a domino effect right now.
It is. It's just like dominoes falling. That's exactly what it's like. Just boom, boom.
Okay, to wrap this all up, we discussed the trust gap within healthcare, symptom disbelief, and reproductive care inequality. We hope by you joining us, we have opened your eyes and mind to these awful situations and encourage you to speak out against these along with other inequalities you experience. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.